So thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we have, and the session I've been very excited to have actually because it's a very relevant discussion currently in the software space. It's causing a lot of people to consider whether or not they should be entering into the software industry as a result of everything that they are seeing. And there are a couple of trends that have been worrying, that people have been paying attention to, for which reason they are scared or anxious about the software industry. Of course, since the entry of AI, we know that vibe coding is a term that has come out to represent the ability to use AI to create software or landing pages, websites, basic functioning tools that are 100% AI generated through prompts. So the idea for the webinar, for a brief discussion, is to talk to Samura Dake, who is the product lead at Nuanum. He declined the CEO title, even though he is the CEO, but he prefers the technical term because he's a technical person, very experienced in the field of development, somebody I've known for quite a while. And I'm excited for him to talk to us briefly about what vibe coding is, and quite simply, whether or not someone should enter into software programming in the age of AI. So Samora, over to you.
All right. Thank you.
We'll be using video
Can
as
you hear me?
well. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, video. Okay. Um. All right. Thank you for having me, and good evening to all of you. Um. It doesn't matter if I mean I always say even if it's one person who listen, I'm willing to willing to give a presentation. So okay, so this AI thing and vibe coding thing is taking the world by storm, and everybody's going crazy about it. So let's talk about it. But before we go on, let me just introduce myself. What's going on? Let me introduce myself briefly. I'm a software engineer. I've been writing software for about 15 years. Most recently, I founded and like Fifi said, I'm the product lead at Nuanum. What we do at Nuanum is we actually build mobile apps and websites for online stores in Ghana. And also recently, we also do the same for freight forwarders in Ghana. We've been doing this for like just actually um, about 7 to 8 months now. We are still less than a year old, but we've actually been there before more than a year. But let's say we've just been in the market for like about 8 months. Previously, I was with Andela, where I got the chance to work with the BBC, with Headspace, and prior to that, I worked with Hubtel. Actually, helped build a lot of the infrastructure there right now that powers the payments for a lot of almost all the services you see at Hubtel that you use right now when you use Hubtel. Yeah, I was actually part of the team that helped build those services out. So what is vibe coding? Before we even go on, we like let's touch base and define what vibe coding is. So vibe coding is a term created by okay. Vibe coding is a term created by this guy right here. He's called Andre Kapati. So he actually used to work at Tesla self-drive for self on the self-driving team, and most recently too, he was working at OpenAI. Actually, he's one of the founders of OpenAI. So he actually co-founded OpenAI, and he's actually a very, very renowned person in the world of AI. So he says he defined the term vibe coding as you trusting the LLMs when you are building software. So you trust the LLMs, you put everything into the LLM's hand. You don't touch the code at all. You do not view or touch the code. All you do is vibe code, trust the vibes. That's basically you give into the vibes. That's basically the term, and that's why actually it actually became a huge thing that blew up because everybody kind of because there's a guy who actually has been also coding his whole life. He's basically like a seasoned engineer in every right, and he actually said this like actually giving into the vibes, and it actually is something that blew up. And I like to say the vibe coding thing actually has a spectrum, even though some people like Andre defined it on an extreme. I personally have been writing code with AI for a while now. I started writing software with the first version of AI code editors that came out was GitHub Copilot, when it came with this advanced autocomplete, whereby when you're writing the code, it will give you more advanced suggestions than normal code editor would give you. Like it can actually suggest like giving full functions and full blocks of code for you and all that. So I call it a vibe coding spectrum. So on the left we have the full vibe spectrum, which is what Andre Carpati defined, which is giving into the vibes, forget about the code. And these are some of the platforms. I don't know if you know some of them, but they've been going really hard on ads, especially Lovable. So
Yeah, I've seen
Lovable,
that.
you've seen Lovable's ads. If you're on YouTube, I'm sure you've seen their ads. Lovable, and there's V0. V0 is also another one that was created by Vercel, which is a company, another
Yeah,
company,
I know Vessel,
yeah,
yeah.
another software development company. Then there's Bolt, which also allows you to create apps. So they say in quotes. I don't, but most people actually know them more for building web apps. Then we have those in the middle, which is mostly vibes. Which this is actually a new genre of the vibe coding tools that has come out most recently. I'll talk more about them them as we go along. But this is actually the most modern iteration of these tools, which actually is it's kind of like it's like it gives you the ability to because sort of like do this kind of prompting thing, like you're talking to the like a coding agent in your terminal in your terminal. So you open the terminal and then you just tell it what to do and then it's going to do it, but it works on your existing code basis. And then the last one, which I'll say optional vibes, which is these are existing code. They work like with existing tools like normal code editors. The two on the right are basically derivatives of VS Code, which is a Visual Studio code editor, which is an open source code editor, which most developers use. Which actually that's actually the code editor that GitHub Copilot was in before these guys, because it's open source. These guys basically forked it and created their own version, AI agents on top of it, and repackaged as their own software. And actually, one of these companies actually sold for 3 billion to OpenAI, I think recently, Winsef. Yeah, which is Winsef. So then these are very new companies, but they've been growing like crazy. In fact, all these tools here are actually very popular in the vibe coding land for various people in various areas who use them for various purposes. So all these things here I'm mentioning here are all like fast growing companies or fast growing tools or whatever. So the first section I talk about is the full vibe section. So what are the full vibes tools basically good for? So they work great for websites and simple web apps. So there's this kind of new generation of software, which you like to call like personalized software, which is a lot of things that first maybe you needed some special software for, but it's not really some complicated software. Maybe you have something you do, maybe you yourself personally you like to do in a specific way, and you need a simple tool for it, but you're not a developer, so you won't go and pay a developer to do it, right? But now with vibe coding tools, you can easily build a tool for yourself, or even if it's a task manager, even if it's some kind of unique task manager you want to work in a specific way, you can build it for yourself, and it can just be local for yourself on your machine or your computer, and only you use it. Do you get it? Or even if it's for your business or your organization or whatever. So it's very great for those kind of simple things. And this is actually one of the key things that makes these tools popular, because it has created a new whole category of software, or even a lot of tools are there before that. Maybe you even pay some small subscription for maybe $5, $10 a month, like maybe some invoicing software, some software that does invoicing for you. Where you can basically use one of these tools to build something that does invoicing for you, and you don't need to go and pay somebody $5 a month or $10 a month for some invoicing application, and then you can, because it's not a complicated thing, it's just a specific thing. Do you get it? So if you're just a little bit technical, you can actually do it with vibe coding tools and get the full benefit without actually having to rely. So this is the thing is basically disrupting the whole software industry, because there are a lot of tools out there now. People are just canceling those subscriptions and just going for building personalized versions of it for themselves. Why will you pay $5 a month when you can do it for yourself and not pay anything and have it on your computer? Then rapid prototyping. So if you want to build something before first, you usually probably need to build a prototype, especially if you are not a developer. You probably want to build a prototype before maybe you can even raise investment or something. Nowadays, with these tools, you don't even need to talk to anybody. You can have the idea in the shower, get out of the shower, and be on your laptop and do it even within 30 minutes. Do you get it? And this is these are some of the things that make it very, very make these tools very, 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 very compelling, compelling to use. And also, personally, I feel that they're actually great also for learning. So even if you don't know a lot about software and you actually play with these tools, you can really, really get a sense for how software works and actually go down the rabbit hole. I usually like to say like these tools are great because when I was learning how to do software, I didn't actually start building software by saying I wanted to build software. I started because I wanted to create a website for myself. I built a website for myself, but when I did a website for myself, the first I was like, so that's all. Then I was like, then I can do more, and it's just like going down the rabbit hole. And I feel these tools give you the same ability to do the same thing because you can quickly build something and you can be like, oh, okay, now how do I do this? And as you go down deeper that rabbit hole, you can easily learn how software works and not have to deal with the friction because back then there's a lot of friction before you even see the thing working. Like you actually have to go through a lot of pain before you actually even get the website up and running before you even see it. You get it. But with these tools, you just basically type, do this for me, and then it's there. If at any point somebody has any question or wants to stop me, anything, you can do that. Feel free to do that. Okay. So what are the weaknesses for some of these tools? So for these tools, the ones I just mentioned, for the full vibes, the category of full vibes, it's difficult to make specific changes sometimes because these things are good. Like I said, they are good for simple things. But if you want to make something more complicated, then you need to get down to the nitty gritty, especially when it comes to the back end services and those kind of things. And it's difficult to do those things with these tools right now. And the code is not the first class citizen in most of these tools. Most of these tools usually you're not interfacing directly with the code. The code is some of them they actually give you access to the code, but they hide it from you and they actually make it like you have to. There's some friction to actually get to the code, even if you want to see the code. So they sort of rely on you sort of have to trust the tool and let the tool do the job. Do you get it? For someone like me, that's usually maybe because of I'm old school, but I like to know what's going on under the hood. So for someone like me, those kind of tools kind of scare me because also because of the last reason is software locking. Because most of these tools they run on a specific platform in the cloud somewhere, like Lovable and all these things. They run somewhere. They don't give you the code directly that you can now take and go and run yourself. You have to sort of run the applications on their platform, and so it makes you locked into their platform. Do you get it? Then we come to the optional vibes, which is actually the ones which they just augment existing code editors. So AI augmented code editors. And this gives existing developers superpowers. So it allows existing developers to actually adopt AI without actually having to deviate too much from what they are already used to or how they already work, which is basically living in a code editor and an IDE writing code. It usually comes with advanced autocomplete, so it suggests code completion as you're writing code, and it allows you to adopt AI gradually. So you don't even have to sort of like know how the AI tools or something work. You can gradually adopt the features and gradually get to know how much or how little of the AI you can use. So you can use as little or as much as possible. And they also come with their weaknesses because it also makes it difficult for developers to let go of old ways. I've heard a lot of developers complaining that sometimes the AI doesn't do what they want because when you are working with the AIs in the code editors, you kind of sort of like have to figure out what works because sometimes you can prompt them too much. You tell them to do too much, or you're not specific enough, and the AI goes and does some crazy huge change, which is not actually what you want. You get it? So it comes with actually a little bit of I would say a learning curve on how getting to know what the AI is actually capable of and being very specific. But I think most of the problem comes down to prompting, which is the primary way we used to talk to AIs. So what I've realized over time about AIs is that the more specific you are, Like let's assume you are trying to get a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old, a very a very yeah a very innocent 5-year-old or 6-year-old to do something for you. You know, somebody like that, you usually have to be very specific. Like if you are even sending them, like you're sending if you're sending your a child, a 6-year or 7-year-old child to the shop to go and do something for you. Sometimes you even write the thing that he's going to buy on the paper. You not just assume that, oh, go and buy me